Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of November 23rd through the 29th, and during that time we'll have a waxing crescent moon, and that's a good time of heightened senses and awareness, good time to really buckle down on those things that we've just started with the new moon. We also have the first quarter moon that comes in on the 28th, and that can be a little disruptor. It's a time when you might feel a little bit impulsive, impatient. Maybe your mind's a little bit active and it's hard to settle down. That does come in on the day after Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. But yeah, that first quarter. So maybe you don't have to work that day and it won't be a big deal. You might be out doing a little bit of holiday shopping that day, or just lounging around and letting that turkey digest a little, whatever you choose. If you do have to work that day, just remember that you can be a little distracted that day. So try to maintain that focus. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter this week, Aquarius. So as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this particular reading: what do you need to release? All right, let's see what the Aquarius Collective has going on for the week. And as I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder for you this week is that you try to get out in nature a little bit. So take a walk in the woods, maybe find a park somewhere where you can get a walk. I know we're starting to get into that busy, hustle and bustle of the holiday season, but just try to take a little bit of time for yourself and just really relax a little bit in nature. Maybe there's some ducks that need fed. You can go, if there's a park that does that near you, a lake or something. So, and also if you can get near water, sometimes just hearing water is just a very relaxing way to meditate, relax, and really think about things. But just get out and enjoy the miracle of nature and really try to connect a little bit this week. So that is my fun weekly reminder for you. And let's get into this reading. Aquarius, November 23rd through the 29th. What do you need to release? All right, King of Swords. Do you need to release something that is related to logic? We'll see. This is your current energy where you're just feeling like, very logical, very clear-minded, and thinking, why doesn't anyone else see the world the way I'm seeing it right now? It seems so logical, right? You're just, I call this the Mr. Spock. No emotion, just logic is kind of where we're at. We'll see what happens when these cards come out, but you're really just sitting in that, like, your own mind, your own intellect, what you're capable of, and you just feel like, that there's a clarity there to everything that seems logical to you right now. Your current situation is that you're thinking about the future. So it could be, with this Two of Wands here, this is about, you've achieved some sort of goal and you're at a place now where you're kind of at a decision point. And I do think your logic will come into play here. What is the logical next step for you is really the question. When you're thinking about your future, it must be that there is something that does seem quite logical for you. Of course, you may need to release something before that happens. So we'll get into what that might be if the cards let us know here. At the root of your situation is the Page of Wands. So, you're on some sort of new path right here. It's a path that's passionate for you. So, you may be thinking about the future because of that, and trying to think in a very logical way about it. What is the next logical step for you? And how do you move forward and enjoy what you're doing? How do you move forward and want to get up every morning and do the thing, so that it's something passionate. I'm starting to feel like it's maybe work or career related even for you. I don't have an indicator of that yet. That's just my feeling. So there might be something going on there. Let's see as your cards come out. In your recent past is the Three of Pentacles. So yeah, this could be something having to do with some collaboration that you've done that maybe kind of sparked an interest for you. Like maybe this is something that I want to pursue a little bit more. It seems very logical. It was something that was natural, and you're kind of thinking about the future in that way, about some sort of recent collaboration. So think about that. What is on your mind this week, much like a lot of other people, is the High Priestess. So you are trying to, I think maybe you're getting some intuitive messages coming in. This might be working against your logic too. This could be a dream that came into you and you're like, well, that makes no sense. That's working against that kind of logic, because the high priestess is, look how watery she is. This is very, the high priestess is more about emotion and feeling, and following those signs from the universe. And, it's just a very, very feminine type energy where, King of Swords is very masculine, very logical, very I'm the King of Swords is not going to have a dream and have it affect his life. That's not logical. But you've got that on your brain. So I feel like that's kind of maybe a battle that you're going through right now. It's on your mind that something seems intuitive, but it's like the logic part of you is like, I don't know. I'm just kind of questioning that because it just doesn't seem logical. But sometimes those intuitive things come in for a reason, and it can cause you to make a decision, and maybe it's a path you need to go down, so you will need to think about that. What is just ahead of you this week is the Queen of Cups. So there's the emotion too. There is having the understanding of emotions, and not only for you but even the people around you. So you're kind of seeing you're seeing the bigger picture on the emotional scale again, not only with you, and you're managing things very well. You may still need to release something, but this your intuition is coming in and telling you something. I think you might need to listen to it. And how can those work hand in hand? How can you listen to your intuition but also kind of make that logical choice? It's like a meeting of two worlds there. Is the Queen of Cups kind of the answer? Like, you have control of your emotions but you still want to do things that are correct, like intellectually, right? So something to think about for you. What is in your advice position is the Queen of Swords. So look at these. I mean, it's like a battle royale here with the royalty. We've got Queen of Cups, Queen of Swords, also King of Swords. Listen, she's very logical also, but she does it in the more feminine manner. This is about the understanding of that logic and the understanding of why you would do something. The more patient area of this suit, right? It's the patience of the correct communication, choosing your words wisely. But she doesn't mince words either. This is the Queen of Swords has the final say when it's time to come to something. When it comes to communication, she is very logical about it, but she's less harsh, I guess, than I want to say the king. The king is just all logic. She has a little bit more of that emotion drawn into her, kind of, the emotion of this high priestess and the Queen of Cups. So again, I feel like it's a battle to you with the battle of emotion and logic, right? So that's a tough one. What is beyond your control this week is the Knight of Swords. So some message comes in very quickly or some communication comes in very quickly. Look at these two battling each other. It's just very obvious here on the reading that there's a clash of words here. This Knight of Swords, who's also very logical, very passionate too, but and maybe even more so, but that they're going to have it out. There's going to be maybe a battle of words. You may have an argument with someone. Again, I'm not getting, this could be relationship oriented, but it also could be something at work that's going on also. This could template over so many different things for different Aquarians. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid? Obviously, is the Tower. You're trying to avoid this huge disruption. And again, is it a disruption with work? Is it a disruption in your relationship? Is it some just major change in your life? But you are trying to avoid it, and I see why. And I do feel like your big battle this week, and also this is secret desire trying to avoid. I think you're trying to avoid it, obviously. I doubt if that's your secret desire is to have a Tower moment, but can you avoid it by with these words, with the meeting of just words and messages that are coming in? Or do you need to apply this emotion and this little bit of intuitiveness of the high priestess? So something really to think about. That's a big battle for you this week is intuition and logic. In your outcome position, which I'm very curious to see, is a little bit of a broken heart. So maybe you just can't. Maybe you just cannot put that together. Maybe it's not going to make sense logically. It is what it is intuitively, but you're going to have to release something. You're going to have to let something go in order for new things to be filling up, to come in and be filling up for you. So, again, I do feel like it's a battle of logic and emotion for you. What is hidden from you this week? Yeah, is any sort of celebration. I mean, this is typically our card of like weddings, and is this some, this could be relationship oriented again, collaboration with others on something. There's no, here's what's very interesting about this reading also, as I will say, is the only cup that there's no pentacles in this. Well, no, there is a pentacle here. I take that back. And the only cups is this Queen of Cups, but this is very sword heavy, or wand, it's wand and swords, really. So think about, swords represent fire, or let me take that back. Clear my words. Fire is represented by the wands. Okay, air is represented by swords. What happens when you get fire and air? It's very combustible, right? It just makes the fire bigger. So you're trying to avoid that here with this tower moment, but there's a lot of words going around and a lot of things being thrown around, in the name of passion. And I think it may, for some of you, have something to do with a relationship. Four of Wands is definitely about more of a celebratory relationship, but that's hidden from you this week. So this could be relationship related. You may end up the week you're just brokenhearted about it. You're going to have to pick up the pieces and move on. And really, anytime we have a tower moment, and even if this is as extreme as a breakup or an argument or something that you're having with your partner, what is it that you need to release so that you can move on in a healthier, happier way? Because sometimes there's just endings and there's reasons for them, and sometimes it's not clear when you're in the middle of it. And just hold on, because sometimes a few months down the road, like maybe you do break up and you meet a new person, and this person is like way more incredible than your current partner that you're having all these issues with. And it's like, well, thank goodness we broke up, because now I had the ability to be in this place to meet this person, and this is the love of my life. So that's kind of how the universe works. It's very hard to see what the end result when you're in it. So pay attention, and again, release whatever it is you need to release. Listen to your intuition a little bit, and kind of resolve that argument between the emotional and intuition and logic. Sometimes it just makes no sense, right? Sometimes there's just not a whole lot of answers about why some people do the things that they do. You may not be able to understand it logically or emotionally, but it just is what it is. So you have to release that. Okay, Soul Oracle deck says be open to love. I mean, you're probably thinking, if you're going through some sort of breakup or problems there, you're probably like, I am open to love. What does that even mean? Be open to love yourself. Love yourself enough to get yourself to the place where you're comfortable doing whatever it is that you're doing. And if this breakup is inevitable, it just is what it is. And again, you might end up being very happy in a few months down the road that this happened, because something else amazing happens to you. So that's just the way life goes. All right. Let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care for Aquarius this week. Authenticity is the card that you get. Live life for you, not the audience in your head. So do you have some sort of expectations about how things would go? Probably. We all kind of do that. But sometimes it's just get the eraser out, get the whiteboard eraser out, and let's just erase that. What do you need to release so that you have a clear path ahead of you? And life doesn't really have to be maybe what you were thinking of in your head. It might be something, it might turn out to be something completely different. So Aquarius, thank you so much for being here with me. I do hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use. I'm so sorry if you're going through some sort of heartbreak or breakup, that sort of thing. Internet hugs to you. That's never easy, but I think it might be a way to get you into a new place. But again, whatever, if it's not a breakup for you, the big issue this week is that you're really fighting the emotional and intuitive with the logical. That's going to be your big battle in whatever this situation template's over. So thank you so much for being here. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what it is you're going through. And what is it that you needed to release this week? And tell me a little bit about your battle. Or if you have questions, I'm happy to answer those questions for you. Also, if you like my reading style, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel, but most importantly, Aquarius, it'll help you find me next week, where you can come back and we can see where this story goes. So thanks again, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.